I wanted to talk about leverage today. Leverage in business. And let me make sure I define that, because I don't want you to think I'm getting off financial here. I'm not getting financial. I want to talk about like this basic concept of leverage and how it can help you when you're starting a business online. And I want to talk about like some of the things you can do to create that leverage for yourself. So first, let me just kind of like define what I mean by leverage. When I say leverage, I just mean anything that can help you do more than you could without it. Okay. Anything that can help you do more than what you could without it, whether that's help you build a bigger email list, whether that's help you make more money, whether that's help you run more sales, um, anything that can like contribute to you doing more than you could without that asset or that thing, I consider a form of leverage. Um, and I just, for me, that just goes back to, um, when I think about leverage, I think about, like if I wanted to lift a car, I can't do it with my hands. I can't do it with my hands. Now I've read, to be honest, I've read some stories about people whose loved ones were trapped under cars and their adrenaline was pumping so hard they were actually able to lift a car with their bare hands. I've read about that and I know it has happened, but for the most part, you can't lift a car with your bare hands. But you can lift it with a jack, right? You can't like, lift certain things or move certain things with your bare hands, but you can do it with pulleys. You know what I mean? You can have so many pulleys in place to where it would appear like you could actually pull a string and lift something that weighs thousands of pounds just because you have so many pulleys in place that allow you that leverage to be able to lift that thing, right? So in that case, those pulleys are they're making you stronger, right? The pulleys are actually helping you lift that object. That is leverage, man. That is leverage. Um, so let me talk about that's what I mean when I say leverage. Let me talk about. I just got to write something down here really quick. Sorry, guys. Um, that's just a little bit of context for leverage and what I mean when I talk about leverage here. Um, so let me give you a little context for this you know, this talk we're having here about leverage. Because the thing is, when you first get started online, you don't have any leverage. That's a big issue. That's a big issue. Like, and you see a lot of people fail, right? And you see a lot of people fail soon, quickly, right? And a lot of that comes down to leverage. A lot of that comes down to not having a lot of leverage. You look at a company like Substack, even now, someone was talking the other day, I can't remember who, was saying, "Oh man, should I be worried about this? Should I be worried about that?" And I had responded that, like, "Hey, listen, Substacks, you know, they're growing really fast and they're still like making a lot of changes as they grow. Um, Substack, I don't think Substack's profitable yet. I'll check on that for you. Let me just do is Substack profitable? I don't think they are, guys. No, yeah, not profitable yet. Substack's not profitable yet. Um, they've received a lot of financial help from investors. Okay. So, as the years go by with Substack, you're gonna see them making changes. Okay. They're gonna be making changes. Like right now, we see Substack moving towards more of like they're adding like this social media aspect. It's allowing them to grow quite a bit. It's pretty exciting for them, and for, I would imagine for their investors as well. But not I don't know if it's as exciting for the people who've been on Substack for a long time. Some of those people feel like they don't like it that much. They don't like social media. That's why they went to Substack, because they didn't like social media. But I gotta tell you, from my point of view, as a someone who builds, businesses on the internet, I did find it exciting because the fact that before that social media aspect of Substack, it was hard to really grow on Substack. You know, I first got introduced to Substack in 2020, and they didn't have any notes platform at that. They didn't have any notes at that time, so it was really hard to kind of like connect with other people on Substack. That was kind of a little bit of a weakness as far as I was concerned. It really just felt like you had to bring your own audience to Substack, you know, and even though there was people on Substack, and you could go over and you could comment on their articles, their posts, basically their emails that are in blog post form. You could comment on their stuff. It just didn't move the needle. You know, it's like they would come back to your stuff sometimes, but it didn't move the needle like this notes thing. Like this notes thing is different. Now people have like a timeline of other people's stuff. It's a game changer for a platform like Substack. And you know, so it's exciting because you can build on the platform a lot easier. But you know, that like idea right there, that is a form of leverage. Like they made their platform stronger, probably because they need to start making it profitable. Um, but I'm getting off base here. I'm getting a little off topic. Let me get back to this idea of leverage. Um, so with leverage, I think that a good way for me to explain this, and I think where I started thinking about it was a few months ago. I had decided I wanted to like my business, epicconversions.com. It's been running for it'll be 10 years this March. It'll be 10 years. And you know, because it's been running for a long time, I had developed a lot of assets, right? A lot of infrastructure is what I call it. A lot of products, an email list, um, social media, you know, kind of profiles, subscribers, you know, different things that I can use to get more sales for myself and for my business, right? And that's leverage, right? So a few months ago, I had decided I wanted to kind of like differentiate in this world of AI where everyone's producing content, especially a lot of general content in my niche. I thought, well, hey, why don't I take one of the key pillars of Epic Conversions and I'll break it off and I'll make that its own little business and I'll only talk about that. Um, and by doing so, I will, you know, differentiate a little bit better, you know, in this generalists world of AI content. Um, so I did, and it was called Easy Start Memberships, right? Now that didn't last very long because you know, towards the very end of the year, I had a change of heart, you know, and this all happened very quickly. Like I think I started Easy Start Memberships in October, like towards the beginning of October, and by the end of December, I was like, you know what? This doesn't, I don't like this. I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it a different way. But I couldn't have done what I eventually did without Easy Start memberships. So it worked. And I'll explain. Um, with Easy Start memberships, what I noticed is when I started it, what I didn't anticipate was not having any leverage. It's not that I didn't anticipate it. I knew I wasn't gonna have any leverage when I started it because I was gonna run a challenge for Epic Conversions, right? Epic Conversions, it was called the first 30 days challenge. So I was gonna actually invite people behind the scenes to watch me build this new small business. So this is like beneficial for people who are just getting started online. This was beneficial for people who hadn't started a business yet, or maybe they have tried to start a business online, but they were kind of struggling. They kind of failed. I was inviting them behind the scenes to watch me start Easy Start memberships. And the way I was doing it was with daily videos, daily video updates of everything that I did that day for Easy Start memberships. So they got to watch me build it from nothing. They got to watch what I built from nothing over the course of 30 days. And it was called the first 30 days. It was like a challenge. So, anyways, as I was doing that challenge and as I was building that small little business, one thing that really there's a couple things that really struck me, a couple of big takeaways. One was, there's a huge difference between, like, having 10 years worth of infrastructure in place and having 0 infrastructure in place, like having nothing, having no email list, having, no products on the market at all, having no assets that you can leverage, having no network that you can tap on, nothing. Um, there's a huge difference, you know? So I think you can get very comfortable, um, in that position when you have a lot of infrastructure, you get very comfortable. Um, and when you don't have any of that, when that's all taken away from you, you realize how hard it really is. And it's different today than it was 10 years ago when I started Epic Conversions. So, like, the way you would build infrastructure has changed a little bit. The fundamentals are the same, but the way that people react to you and just the way things get done are a little bit different. It changes, you know? So I spent that 30 days updating and telling people what I was doing. And every single day I updated them. And, I took the business to profit within 30 days. So if you are out there and you have not like made any money online, you've only lost money online, um, I can tell you right now, I just did it back in October. I took a business from 0 to profit within 30 days. Okay. Now it wasn't like tons and tons of profit. I think I made like 20 or 30 bucks. That's where it got to. But I could see it was already starting. It was already starting that I had laid out the infrastructure. I was putting the pieces in place. By 6 months in, it would have been healthy. It would have been a healthy little business. Um, so why did I end up not doing that? Why did I end up kind of shutting the doors on that at the end of December? Well, the reason was because my heart just wasn't in it. That's basically why. My heart wasn't in it. I just didn't feel like, you know, I didn't feel like running two separate entities, Epic Conversions here and then this little side thing of, Easy Start memberships. I didn't feel like being split in two different directions with my energy and my time. Um so that's kind of why that was really the reason I just didn't want to do it. I mean, the idea of niching down that's a sound idea. That's a good idea. Niching down when you're trying to reduce your competition it's a good idea. But for me, man, I was just like, dude, I don't feel like running two different businesses. This is too much for me, man. I don't feel like dealing with it. I didn't think it was going to be I didn't think it was going to be a big deal because I just figured that like, you know, all the stuff that with Epic Conversions, there's three pillars of Epic Conversions has three pillars of education, right? Epic Conversions is a digital publishing company. Three pillars of education, right? They are list building and email marketing, okay? Prolific, impactful content, and continuity. Like those are the three pillars that I usually focus on when it comes to teaching. I said, well, okay, well, if I break off continuity and kind of make its own little separate entity, it's not that big of a deal, is it? I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just everything that I do with continuity, I'm going to do it through Easy Start memberships. So there's not really any change. It's just a change in positioning, right? Well, I was wrong. That's not how it was. It's not just a change in positioning, okay? Because when you got two separate entities, as I learned, Easy Start memberships didn't have any infrastructure. It didn't have any of the stuff behind it that Epic Conversions did. Now, after that 30-day challenge, I did let my list know about Easy Start memberships, and I started, bringing some of that audience over. But you got to understand, from a standpoint of a customer and from a standpoint of an existing customer and from a standpoint of someone who follows you, this idea of having like two separate businesses and stuff, that's confusing for them, man. They don't want to hear about like, oh, this is Cam from Easy Start memberships and this is Cam from Epic, and it's confusing, man. You're not the main character in their story. You're like a side distant character in their story. You're like a guide in their story. You're the guide. You're like the Obi-Wan Kenobi in their story, okay? You're not the main character. So when you start like, putting yourself in this position of confusion because you run more than one thing, it's not that you can't fix it, right? you can explain your positions clearly and they'll understand what's happening. But still, at the same time, it's 2 separate entities, okay? So, what that means is as I inject content into the market, free content like this podcast you guys are listening to or watching right here, as I inject content into the market, I really need to be injecting content into the market for both entities. If I want them both to grow. If I want Easy Start memberships to grow, I really need to inject content into the market for Easy Start memberships, right? So that means not only do I inject content into the market for Epic Conversions, I also have to do it for Easy Start memberships. So it wasn't a simple matter of like, oh, well, when I talk about continuity, I'll do it under the Easy Start memberships brand and everything else I'll do under the Epic Conversions brand. It wasn't that simple. Both brands needed to be, kept, like strategy needed to be put in place for both brands to stay TOMA, right? Top of mind awareness. Uh, I had that strategy for both brands. So essentially, it wasn't like, oh, this is just a little side thing that I do here and there when I'm going to talk about continuity. No, it was like I was running two different businesses and it was like a lot of work, too much work for me, man. So I was like, forget this. I'm forgetting that. But there's one thing that I want to take from that Easy Start membership experiment, and that is this idea of starting from nothing again, right? It was very powerful for me to experience that, uh, that 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 feeling of like nobody knows who I am. I'm starting from nothing. I don't have any products on the market. Man, how do I make this happen? How do I move? Right. And I started doing what I knew how to do. Right. And I started incorporating those ideas and those fundamentals into what I was surrounded with today and how the market was reacting to what I was doing today. It was a really cool, thing. I didn't know I was going to get that out of that. That's not how I'd planned it, man. Like how I drew it up on paper is not how it went. All right. But that was the most powerful thing that I took from Easy Start memberships. So, came to the end of the year and I decided, listen, I am going to take Epic Conversions to infrastructure 0. I'm going to take that most important thing that I learned from Easy Start memberships and I'm going to apply it to Epic Conversions. And I'm not saying it wasn't hard, okay? Because infrastructure 0 means I take all my products off the market. I was running 3 membership clubs. I took them off the market. Um, so that takes effectively that takes your income down to 0 as what that does. Not counting affiliate reoccurring. I have some affiliate reoccurring that's coming in from affiliate products that I have promoted and they're reoccurring products. So I still have some money coming in from that. But effectively, infrastructure 0, most income gone, right? Now, it's not quite the same for me as it would be for someone who doesn't have an email list. I have a customer database. So like as long as I maintain my email list, as long as I maintain my customer database, as soon as I put something on the market, I'm not going to be infrastructure 0 anymore and I'm going to start making money again pretty quickly. Um but I wanted to go infrastructure 0 because I felt like I felt like it needed to be a little bit more streamlined. You know what I mean? Things needed to be a little bit more streamlined. Trying to run those 2 businesses at the same time really opened my eyes to, yeah, how things just need to be a little bit more streamlined for me as I get a little bit older. I'll be 50 years old this year in 2026. So as I get a little older, I realize, man, I don't really want to be doing all this stuff, man. I want to streamline things a little bit. It really made me open my eyes to like who I wanted to serve and who I was going to kind of like not serve as much. Um, just various little things. But anyways, that's a little bit of a context for you on what's got me thinking about leverage today because I had to do a lot of, leverage building when I started Easy Start memberships. So anyways, if you're out there right now and you're kind of thinking about like how you could get more sales, how you might be able to build some of this leverage I'm talking about, well, I'm glad you stuck around because I'm getting ready to explain to you how you can do it, right? And if you've ever launched a product, whether it was a digital product or whether it was a membership club or, whether it was a blog or something like that. If you've ever launched something and you've published, right, and you didn't get any sales, or you published and you didn't get any views on your thing, or you published and like it seems like no one's paying attention, like you're publishing into a vacuum, right? If that's you, then listen up because this might help you a little bit. I can't make any promises. Well, sometimes I will talk about things, and it's just because I've been doing this for a long time. So I think that you know I, I think that sometimes there's a disconnect between me and the beginner. Um, so I do think that like the things I talk about might be more applicable to someone who is already making money and has already been around for a little while, but they're trying to make more money. That's probably more of who I would help these days. But this particular lesson, man, if you're not making any money and you're trying to make some money, this lesson can help you. All right. So how can you do it? You don't have any leverage. You just came online, or you've been online for a while, but you haven't had any success. How can you do it? I'll give you like 4 different things. I actually started out with 3 different things. And the 4th thing that I'm going to tell you about, I added right here on this call, but I hate it. I absolutely cannot stand it. But I will tell you about it because in this discussion where we're talking about how do I lift something that I'm not able to lift, right? How can I move something that I shouldn't be able to move by myself, right? Because that's really what we're talking about. When you talk about launching a product and you talk about generating 2,000 sales on a product launch, okay, well you know, that's tough. You need a lot of people to help you with that, okay? You need a whole bunch of people pulling out their credit card and buying your thing for you to get 2,000 sales. That's not just you. That's not just you. That's not just you pulling out a credit card and buying your thing. That's not just you and a couple of your friends and your mommy and your daddy pulling out their credit card and buying your thing. No, you need a lot of help to pull that kind of leverage off, right? So how can you do it? Well, the first one is something. Here's what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on 4 things that you can control, right? These are things you can control, and they can start helping you immediately. You want to know how I got that business to profit within 30 days of having nothing? Well, I utilized some of the things I'm going to talk to you about today. Okay. So infrastructure, that's the first one. I want you to get that in your mind. Infrastructure. What do I mean when I say infrastructure? I'm talking about this idea of building a city, right? When you think about a city, let's say you wanted to build a city. How would you do it? You know, you'd build a fire station, right? To fight the fires. You would lay a sewage system, right? So that you have like sewage disposal within your walls of your city. You would put pipelines for the water. You'd make sure that everyone had running water in the city. Everything would be in place, right? You'd have telephone lines. You'd have electric lines so that everyone you would run the infrastructure. You'd have a school, right? So all the kids could go to school. You'd have a downtown city building, right? So people could go downtown and they could visit the city commission, right? And stuff like you would put infrastructure in place for your city. Now, you probably think, oh, Kim, what are you talking about? I'm not trying to build a city. I'm trying to make some money, man. Get real. You're losing me with the city talk. I'm not trying to lose you. I'm just saying. It's kind of like building a city. When you think about infrastructure, it's kind of like building a city. It's when you're building an online business, it's the same thing. Um, and the biggest point of leverage is the email list, right? That's the email list. It's the biggest point of leverage. So when you're gonna when you're gonna start a new online business, you put a system in place to start pulling in leads, and generally that's going to be it's a multi-tiered system. It's not going to be just one way, right? But the easy way when you first get started is to create a product, a simple product. I'm not talking about a huge, massive flagship product here. I'm talking about a simple product, and that's going to act as like a lead magnet. This product could be as simple as a cheat sheet or a checklist, right? The important thing is that it solves a problem for the people in your niche. It solves it in an interesting way, right? You got to consider the USP when it comes to the lead magnet. It's just as important as the USP on a product you're going to sell. And it's just as important because nobody knows who you are. You have no leverage. You have no customer database. You're trying to introduce yourself to the world. So this free thing that you're going to put out there, it's almost like your business card, right? It's a way that you're going to introduce yourself to the world, and your name is not going to entice people to get that free thing. The only free things are a dime a dozen out there. Okay, like there's free crap all over the place. The thing you're watching right now, this live stream, when I end this, there's going to be a replay put up on my Substack, on my YouTube channel, and on my Facebook. And it's free. People can just watch this. It's like an hour. It's going to be like an hour of content free. So free things are a dime a dozen. And then if you combine that with the fact that AI is now producing a lot of content for people, it's even cheaper. It's less than a dime. It's like a penny a dozen, right? So with the free thing that you put out there, don't just think you can just like casually just throw something out there, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. It's not a casual thing, all right? What it is a captivating thing. The free thing that you put out there needs to be captivating. It needs to entice people. It's a no-brainer. I got to pick this up. This looks cool, right? Even if they don't know you, they got to pick it up because it looks cool. They want to know. Maybe it's going to solve their problem. They want to know, right? So that's your free thing. And, in that free thing, I would include, well, and this isn't like a, you know what? I'm not even going to go into that. This isn't even a podcast about the free thing. I'm just saying, when you want to build leverage, something anybody can do is put a free thing out there. Okay? Put something free out there that is captivating, that will actually help people in a quick amount of time. So when they get it, they can actually take action on it and they can solve a problem in their niche. Then obviously, you want to extend the invitation to continue the conversation. What does that mean? It just means like in the free thing, you want to remind them to check their emails from you because you're going to be giving them even more awesome tips and tricks and stuff like that through email. And you let them know how often you email, right? Email regularly. So be on the lookout for that. You can even put bonuses in your emails that are like supplementals to that free thing they just got from you, right? You can do stuff like that just to get them in the idea, just to get them kind of like in the idea that like, hey, this is valuable what he just gave me, but also his emails are valuable too. This is cool. I'm gonna see what this guy has to say. It's all about, it's all about grabbing their attention and getting them interested in what you have to say, right? So that's a simple the lead magnet system has been around for a long time. I'm not telling you guys anything you haven't heard of before, but what I'm saying is when you're trying to build leverage, when you're trying to build infrastructure, because infrastructure gives you leverage. When you're trying to build infrastructure, the lead magnet is one of your first steps. Put that in place. What else about infrastructure? To me, it's important to start putting some products out there on the market, Now me, I'm doing things a little bit differently this year. I'm not going to put like a ton of products out there on the market, low ticket products. For a long time, low ticket products were my bread and butter. And, I put low ticket products on the market. They all had sales funnels, right? So I'd have like a $10, $20 product. And then it would have like 5 or 6 products in the funnel, right? And that worked good. I'd put my continuity program in the funnel and, and mid tickets in the funnel and stuff like that. And that worked really good. So like to me, it's important to have some infrastructure. Now you can control your assets. You can control that. You can't control how many people jump on your list. You can put a system in place to get people to join your list. You can make efforts, like I was talking about, a multi-pronged attack to get people to join your email list. I'll have the free lead magnet over here. I'll have the low ticket product launches over here combined with the affiliate referral system over here, and that's going to put people on my list, stuff like that. You can have multi-tiered, system to put people on your list. Of course, sure. I'm going to have the solo ad thing running over here. And that's cool, but you still can't control how many people go on your email list, right? That's a process that you're like attacking. That's a process that you're attacking, but you can't just immediately control it, right? Very rarely. Um, but there are some things you can immediately control. Like the next thing I'm talking about here is your assets that you create, right? You can control the idea of saying, well, I'm gonna put um, I'm gonna put a new paid product out every month. Every month, I'm gonna solve another product. I'm gonna solve another problem in my market with this product. Every month, I'm gonna solve a problem, right? And maybe I'll recircle to these problems and I'll solve them in a different way, right? How many different ways can I drive traffic to a website? Every single one of those ways could be a problem solved, right? Every single one of those ways could be a product. Sorry. Every single one of those ways could be a product. Okay. One problem, one solution products, simple one problem, one solution products. And as you put these products out there on the market, what they are doing is they're building your infrastructure. Why does it matter? Well, it matters because of a few reasons. Well, one, the more products you have on the market, the more opportunity for people to see what you're doing. The more chance that people are going to buy your stuff. The more that you have out there, because you're solving more than one problem. So that is one reason why it's good to build infrastructure. Another reason why it's good to build infrastructure is because with these assets I'm talking about, you can reposition them, right? They don't just have to be products on the market. Like all those products I told you I took off the market, I still have those products. I've actually already repositioned them in my next product that I'm putting out called Epic Conversions Monthly. They're all being repositioned in there either as immediate bonuses people get when they first join Epic Conversions Monthly or unlockable loyalty bonuses. I have unlockable loyalty bonuses that people are going to get just as a way of saying thank you for being a part of this membership. So with Epic Conversions Monthly, when you're a member for 1 month, you get a loyalty bonus unlock at the 1 month mark. When you're a member for 2 months, you get a loyalty bonus unlock at the 2 month mark. So every month you get a loyalty bonus unlock, like a 2 month loyalty bonus unlock. And I've got that already set in place all the way up to like 12 months. I've got 12 months of loyalty bonuses in place to unlock for people. Now, like for like month 12, you might think, well, what's the loyalty bonus for month 12? For me, it's a physical book that'll be autographed. Like I will sign the book and send it to them, a physical book that I wrote. And that kind of comes back to what I'm talking about. Like I can put all those loyalty bonuses in place and like I can send out a physical book. Why? Because I wrote a physical book, right? It's called 13 Obstacles. And I wrote it. You can't get it on Amazon. Okay. It was a limited release. I wrote it. It was a high ticket book. I sold it for $150. And it was just sold to my list only. The people who were in my membership clubs at the time, they got a discount in addition to the discount that I gave my list. And you might wonder, what was the discount you gave your list? Well, I don't remember the exact percentage I gave them, but basically it took the $150 price tag down to $105. It was the first time I ever done a print book. And at the time, I actually had planned on doing 6 print books that year, one every 2 months. And look, I know that you're thinking like, how the heck do you do 6 books in a year? Okay, look, I had a system, okay? And I know I could have easily done it. Easily could have done it. These books were probably about 200 pages a piece. Typical size for a business book, basically. Yeah, I could have totally done it, and I had all 6 books planned. But the reason I didn't was because as much as I love to read print books, like being on the other end of it and and fulfilling a print book, because on that first print book, I fulfilled everything. I did everything. I fulfilled all of it. I foolishly thought that I was only gonna sell in the United States for the most part. I foolishly thought that most of my sales were gonna come from the United States, so it wasn't a big deal. That's not how it was, man. I fulfilled all these books. Half my sales came from overseas, and I had to do all these customs forms to get these books to these people. It was a super big pain in the butt. And if I ever do another print book sale, which I'm sure I will, because Epic Conversions Monthly, the 12-month is the unlockable bonus. The unlockable loyalty bonus is a print book. So if people stay for 2 years, I'm going to do another print book for those people and have a second loyalty bonus unlock, and I want that one to be even cooler than the year one loyalty bonus unlock. So, I'm sure I'll do some more print books here. But I won't fulfill them myself. I'll go through like a fulfillment house, or I'll go through Amazon or something. Something will be changed, man. I'm not going to fulfill them myself. So, um, I think I might be able to fulfill them through Lulu. I don't know about that. I have to check on that. But anyways, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, I was able to use all that because assets. I built my assets. So anybody can control how many assets they create. All right. Now, you out there, if you haven't like published any paid content, but you're publishing free content, you're getting ignored, but you're publishing free content. Okay. You're publishing notes on, Substack, or you're publishing articles on Substack. Well, those articles are really emails. Those are emails you're sending out to your list, like they're newsletters, but they also double as posts, blog posts. Well, look, all those things can be bundled up into products. Okay. Notes package can be bundled up into a product. And you think, well, who wants a notes package from me? Well, look, they can be bundled up into like templates. You can be bundle them up with a license. You can, bundle them up as like reference material and give people go-bys for how to write notes like this. There's a lot of ways the assets you create, the content you create, can be bundled up and changed and repositioned to different assets. But the point that I'm trying to make is, when you're publishing free content into the market, that is an asset. Okay, that's an asset. So, assets are part of your infrastructure, and they can be repositioned in different ways. So your infrastructure gives you options. Okay, and those options are like pulleys to help you lift heavier things. When you got infrastructure in place, hey Alexi, how you doing? When you got infrastructure in place, you don't have a problem. Like right now here in America, the next holiday is Valentine's Day. February 14th is Valentine's Day. Now, to a lot of people, I see people saying like, "Oh yeah, I don't care about Valentine's Day. That doesn't matter." Then you see other people saying like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get my girlfriend, some chocolate hearts or something." You know what I mean? I'm gonna get my girlfriend an engagement ring or something. Some people are really into Valentine's Day, some people aren't, okay? But if you run a business, every holiday is an opportunity, okay? Whether you take advantage of it or not, it's an option. Every holiday is an option, okay? Valentine's Day is another option, man. You can have a Valentine's Day sale. You can have a 24-hour Valentine's Day sale, and you don't have to create anything if you have infrastructure in place. If you have assets in place, you can just say, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a bundle. I'm going to take this, this, and this. I'm going to bundle them together for my special 2026 Valentine's Day sale, and I'll put it out there and let people go at it. It's only a 24-hour sale or whatever, or you could do it for the weekend or whatever. I don't know when Valentine's Day is. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's, let's see. That's perfect, man. Valentine's Day is on Saturday. It's on Saturday. Come on. You can run a Friday, Saturday, Sunday sale. That's a 3-day sale for Valentine's Day. Boom. Valentine's Day weekend. Heartbreakers weekend. You know what I mean? It's the Heartbreakers weekend. The Heartbreakers Weekend Club. 3-day sale, man, for all my heartbreakers out there or whatever. Like it's every single holiday is a simple reason to run a sale. It's a simple reason to launch something new. It's a simple way to get people interested in something that you're doing. Why? Why does that work? Because that's a way to enter the conversation that's already happening in people's minds. You understand what I'm saying? Like when it's getting close to Valentine's Day, people are already be thinking about Valentine's Day. They're already thinking about Valentine's Day, man. So like if you're talking about Valentine's Day and you're running a Valentine's Day sale, you're entering the conversation that's happening in their mind already. You're inserting what you sell into the conversation. Um so like that's why, man. That's why. That's why. Um but sorry guys, I'm on a time limit. I'm just trying to watch my time as I move forward. Um Anyways, so infrastructure, okay? Infrastructure. What's the second one? Free shows and email lists, okay? Free shows and email lists with the intention of building your customer database, okay? Free shows and email lists. What you're watching right now, this is Cam from Epic Conversions. It's a podcast, right? Now it's a video live stream podcast. What's its intention, man? Its intention is to keep me top of mind, right? Its intention is to be put out regularly to keep me top of mind as one of the real ones, okay? What do I mean when I say one of the real ones? All right? What I mean is someone who's not using AI to fake a bunch of stuff. Like I'm a real person, I'm a real guy, I run a real business, and it's not based on artificial intelligence, okay? Because last time I checked, AI is not doing live streams yet, but I am. I can sit here unedited and do a live stream. I don't need a script in front of me to talk about this stuff. I don't need a script in front of me to talk about this stuff because I've been living it for like the last 15 years. So I don't need AI to like help me. You know what I mean? I'm just talking to you about what I know. I'm just sharing my stories with you from what I know. So that's a way for me to differentiate myself. But this free show also is designed to help me build my email list. I always talk about epicconversions.com in my free shows. Okay. Well, if you go to epicconversions.com, you will be in a position where you can sign up for my email list to get more information from me. Right. So that's pretty cool. But your free shows help build your email list. Your free shows help build your email list. Your free shows help keep you top of mind in your marketplace. I'll tell you what, man, I've been running Epic Conversions since 2016. And I've been doing online business since before that, since 2011. But since 2016, when I started Epic Conversions, I've always injected free content into the marketplace, whether it's been on YouTube, whether it's been some other platform. I've always tried to inject free content into the marketplace. Free content is a part of my strategy. Now, the free content I inject is part of my infrastructure. All right. So you control that. Okay. Whether you have an email list or not, you can control setting up a simple free show like what I'm doing right now. You know, you can set it up and you can say, okay, man, I'm going to have a free show that I do. I'm going to do it once a week and it's going to be all about this one thing, right? Whatever your niche is, whatever your subject is. And what I do, man, is I try to have these like themes with each of these shows, you know? And like if you think about this show right here, Cam from Epic Conversions, what's the theme of this show? Like, well, I want to talk about like what I've done, my successes and failures in online business here. But I want to do it like we're just sitting here having a conversation, right? It's a live stream conversation. Like I want to be like your next door neighbor that you don't absolutely hate. Okay. I want to be like someone who you know, just another friend from around the way who happens to know how to do this one thing. You know, so like if you're the kind of person who wants to learn how to do this one thing, you're going to feel comfortable talking to me about it because you see me many times on the Cam from Epic Conversions podcast. And this kind of like free show, this whole like daily kind of live stream thing, this is really about like repetition. You know what I mean? It's like the daily radio show. If you've ever like listened to the radio regularly, if you ever listen to talk radio, like you don't catch all the episodes, you know what I mean? But it's like they're on every day. And they're always on every day at this time that you're always in your car. So you kind of like, you know, whether that's the day that you on your way to work, maybe you have to commute to work for like an hour and it's always at the same time every day. So you just kind of take a liking to this talk radio station and this one show, you know, that's kind of like what Cam from Epic Conversions is all about, you know? So what I'm trying to tell you is you can control that. You can inject free content into the marketplace and you can use it to build your email list. I was talking about putting a simple system in place to build your email list, a simple lead magnet. Well, in your free shows, you can talk about your lead magnet. You can pitch your lead magnet in every free show, but you can inject that free content into the marketplace regularly and you can control that, man. You can start that immediately. You can start that today. And I can tell you, man, there's a power in consistently putting something out over time because it's really about like getting people to believe you. You know what I mean? It's really about getting people to believe you. When you're brand new and nobody knows who you are, most people don't know if they really take you seriously or not. They're like, I don't know who this joker is. Just some other fly by night cat came out of nowhere. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know anything about that dude. You know what I mean? Especially in this age of artificial intelligence where everybody's faking stuff. It's all fake, man. It's all fake. Oh man, you know what? I'm not the best email writer, but you know what? Let me go get AI to write me about 14 emails. So I got a 2-week campaign to promote this, special report that I had AI write for me yesterday. I mean, you don't know how to run your own business. You had AI do everything for you. How would you even know if it's right or not? How would you even know? Because you don't know what you're doing. And AI makes mistakes. Let me tell you, AI makes mistakes. But anyways, free shows, you can control that. Okay, that's another way to build infrastructure. All those free shows, they can easily be taken off the market whenever you're ready. Think about it, man. This is called Cam from Epic Conversions podcast. Well, guess what? I was doing a free show called The Mighty Few. All right. That show came to an end. I can easily take The Mighty Few off the market, package it up, put it in a membership club as a bonus or as an asset, or I can reposition it somewhere else. Easily, I can do that. It's an asset. I've created it. Just because something's free today doesn't mean it has to stay free, you know? So again, free shows are assets. You can create them and you can control that. Just because you don't have an email list right now, and just because nobody cares about what you're doing, just because you can't get any sales right now, these are some steps you can take to start getting people to care and take you more seriously. Showing up every day does something. All right. Showing up every day does something to people, even if it's on a subconscious level. All right. It tells them that you are serious. Nobody shows up every day, at least unless they at least, know self-discipline. Right. I can tell you right now, like over the last 6 months, I've lost like over 50 pounds. And when I talk about like losing weight and stuff, people take me more seriously now because they can see that I've done it. They take me more seriously now because I have this experience of doing it. Right. So when you show up every day and you do these live streams every day, or you do these articles every day, or you do the daily thing or whatever, it doesn't matter if looks like no one's listening, or it doesn't matter if no one's watching. You're building for the future. You're building for the future audience that you don't have yet. All right. And what happens is as they trickle in, they start to see how consistent you are, how much you show up every day with that self-discipline. And that becomes something that people admire. All right. Because there's not a lot of self-discipline out there in the world right now. A lot of people are just flying by night, man. They're just, like Dan Kennedy would say, they're just looking for somewhere to plug their umbilical cord in, right? They don't know what to do. They don't know who to follow. So that consistency is a big deal, right? And it proves that you're serious. So that's another thing. Anyways, let me move on to my third thing because I'm kind of going over on my time here. So the third thing that I would tell you guys about is networking. All right, networking. And I know like you've heard this term networking, right? I know you've heard this term network. Oh yeah, networking, whatever, Cam. No, listen, I'm not talking about just like, networking like what you're thinking. I'm talking about putting a list together of people, right? A list of people together, and you're building that network. And what I'm talking about is every day you try to reach out and make contact with a few of them every single day. You work your way down that list every day. You reach out to a few of them every day. As you build the network, mean, I'm talking about putting a list together of at least 100 or 200 people, right? And you're building the network of people in your niche who know you, other movers and shakers, people who are running businesses in your niche. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing that you do. It could be like a cross section, right? It's beneficial if it's a cross section. Like if you're doing like, list building, it's beneficial for you to reach out to someone who specializes in email marketing. It's beneficial for you to reach out to someone who specializes in product creation, right? You're like, a grocery store. You're like a Walmart. You don't sell everything. You specialize in this one thing. But, if you could network with someone who specializes in something else, then that's a mutually beneficial, friendship. But anyways, the point is, even if you're more of a generalist and you're kind of like I serve this broad kind of group of people, you still network with other people who serve that broad group of people as well. You want to try to build relationships with the movers and shakers in your niche if you can. If you're not aligned, you're not aligned. I mean, if you just don't like how they do things, you don't appreciate how they do things, if it's not if it can't be genuine, then, I don't really recommend bothering with it because, you know, most of the time people can sense when you're just BSing them, when you're not really being a genuine person. But if you align with somebody and it makes sense, I mean, I think you should try to, build your network, okay? Put it this way, like when I was launching products on Warrior Plus, I mean, I had like, man, I can tell you right now how many affiliates I had. Um, it was like over 5,000 affiliates on Warrior Plus when I was now I didn't reach out to every one of those guys uh, personally, but what happened was every time I went to launch a product, I would reach out to at least 100 affiliates. Often I would reach out to 2, 3, 400 affiliates. Personally, manually, I would reach out to them. Usually a lot of it happened through Facebook. Sometimes it would happen through email. Sometimes it would happen through Skype. But the point is, I would reach out to them manually and have a conversation, right? And it's like some of them would be like, "Yeah, cool, I'm into it," and some of them would be like, "No, I'm not into it," and some of them have an attitude, and some of them would ignore me, right? Um, but it was like a marathon, the first priority was to make contact with them and to kinda, like, build that networking relationship, and the second priority was to let them know about my product launch, and I can't control whether they promote it or not. This is affiliate outreach. It's not like affiliate recruitment, really. I know everybody calls it affiliate recruitment, but it's not. It's affiliate outreach. You cannot recruit an affiliate like you could recruit a soldier, okay? That's not how it works. Okay. These are like strong minded entrepreneurs. Okay. I've never met an entrepreneur, a self made individual who is not strong minded. It's never happened. All right. They all have egos. They all have strong minds. They all have visions for what they want to do. And, you have to treat them as such when you're talking to them. So, anyways, it's 5,562, 5,562 affiliates I've recruited. Now what happens is, if I'm reaching out to 100, 200, 300 affiliates every time I launch a product, what happens is when I do successful product launches and I get sales and everybody can see that I'm getting sales and they see other people promoting my stuff, that has a snowball effect. Then you start to get people coming to you wanting to promote your stuff. That's how it is like in the affiliate networking game. But whether we're talking about affiliates or we're just talking about any kind of like business network where you're trying to reach out and build a network of peers, people who you can help with your business and who can help you, right? So it's good to try to build a network of people like that. And I'm not just talking, like I said, I'm not just talking about, reaching willy-nilly contact with those people. I'm talking about actually trying to build relationships with them. Put a list, make an Excel document, put people's names in there, put their phone numbers if you got them, put their email if you got them, put their social media if you got them, and every day you try to go through a few of those people and reach out to them. You just work your way down the list every day. If you got 100 people and you reach out to 10 of them a day, well, within 10 days, you're going to have reached out to all those 100 people at least once every 10 days. Once every 10 days. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you mind getting a phone call or do you mind getting an email from a friend every 10 days? Every 10 days, just to say, hey, how's it going, man? Just checking in. What you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. The reason you do it is so that you're not the guy who only comes around when you need something. All right. You cannot maintain a network if you only come around when you need something. All right. The way that you maintain the network is that you check in. You check in with people, not like a nuisance, you know. You're not checking in like every day being a nuisance, but like every week, every couple weeks, you kind of check in, hey, what's up? Share something with them you think they might think is cool. You know, simple stuff, right? This is not a live stream about networking. I'm just saying networking and building that list, that network of people who can help you and who you can help, building that list and creating those relationships with people, that creates leverage for your business. All right. And you can do it. Don't tell me you can't do it. I know you can do it. Okay. We've all been trying to make friends since we were in kindergarten. Since you took your first step in the public kindergarten system, okay, you've been working on trying to make friends with other people. Okay. So like you can all do it. And if you say, oh Cam, I was homeschooled, or oh Cam, I was private schooled. I didn't have to mix it up with the riffraff. I don't know how to do it. Okay, that's fine. You're not good at networking. But guess what? It's hard to build as an island. It's hard to build as an island, man. So that means what you got to do is we all have weaknesses, right? Especially when we're trying to build businesses, we all have weaknesses. If that's one of your weaknesses, man, then you gotta try to like correct that a little bit. You gotta try to work around your weakness, but you also gotta try to improve upon things you're not as good at. Yeah, and networking is really really powerful. It's a really, you know, I wouldn't have been able to build my business without networking. Put it that way. It wouldn't have happened. So you know, I still remember the first time I launched a product, I got zero sales, no sales. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I literally had a YouTube channel. The first time I launched a product, man, I had a YouTube channel with like 2,000 subscribers on it. And that might not sound like a lot to you now, but this was back in like 2012, okay? And that was pretty good in 2012. I mean, that channel was probably earning me like $500 or $700 a month in ad revenue. So that was pretty decent back then. But I didn't know enough about product launching that when I launched my product, I didn't tell my YouTube channel about it. That's how green I was. I looked at them like two separate projects. One was the YouTube channel, and its job was to do this. And the other thing was just, I'm just experimenting. It's a product launch. I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm just testing this out. I thought that I could launch on JVZoo. I don't know if you've heard of that market before. It's a platform that specializes in online marketing products and softwares and stuff. But I thought I could launch on JVZoo. I was following this guy named Alex, Alex Jeffries. I almost said Alex Hormozi, but no, this was Alex Jeffries. I was following a guy named Alex Jeffries, brilliant marketer, okay, named Alex Jeffries. He was a student of Rich Schefren, who's also the guru of the gurus, a brilliant marketer. But anyways, I was following Alex Jeffries, and he was launching on JVZoo. So I was like, man, I want to launch on JVZoo, man. Shoot, that's what I want to do. So I said, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'm going to try launching on JVZoo. So I did. But I thought I was under this impression that like, I'm going to launch on JVZoo and the people on the JVZoo marketplace would see my product and I would get sales from that marketplace. Like I didn't have a concept of what product launching really was. So my first launch, I got no sales, man, no sales. Was it like defeating? I mean, you know, it was a little defeating, but you know, I just get back to it. You know, I just kind of accept it. With business, it's like nothing's ever going to go exactly the way you want. It's always about adjustment and iteration, right? It's always about adjustment and iteration. So I enjoy doing it. It was fun launching a product. It just wasn't fun not to get any sales. So it's like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? So I went back to the drawing board and I started figuring out some of the processes and things that needed to be done to actually get sales, you know, with product launches. So anyways, the network is a big deal right now. And then the fourth thing that I would tell you, this is the fourth one. I've gone way over today. But the fourth thing that I would tell you is and this is something you already know about, okay? Everybody already knows they can leverage AI right now. Um, what I would tell you, what I would try to add to that conversation of leveraging AI is to leverage AI in a smart way. And let me explain what I mean. I'll give you an example. Um, when I was doing Easy Start memberships last year, um, I wanted to have a monthly newsletter. It was going to be called Easy Start Memberships Monthly. Okay, and it was going to be like a monthly newsletter. It was going to be like $10 or $28 or something like that. And so, how did I do this newsletter? Okay, well, what I did was I would write an article. It would be like the main point that I wanted to make, right? And it'd be like, you know, 1,000 word article, 2,000 word article, whatever. The main point I wanted to make. Then I would write like a little introduction article for introducing people to this month of the newsletter. So I had the introduction article. Hey, welcome to this issue of Easy Start Memberships Monthly. And then I had the main article, which covered the point I wanted to make. And then, what I would do is I'd go to like AI, I'd go to Claude, and I'd say, okay, I want you to read my introduction. I want you to read my article, all my main points. And then I want you to behave like an interviewer, someone who wants to add value to people in my niche, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to be an interviewer and I want you to ask me questions based off the things that I talked about in this article, you know, things that you think people in my niche might care about, right? So I had the AI act as an interviewer and ask me questions. He'd ask me, or it would ask me one question at a time, right? And I would answer the questions, right? So what that did was that provided another section in my newsletter. So I had the intro, okay, the introduction article, then I had the main meat and potatoes article, then I had this interview section where I went even deeper into stuff I talked about in the article because AI asked me questions. Basically, I directed it to ask me questions on, things people might have questions about based on the article. So it's a really cool system, and I could give you like this. I have a whole format for it, but anyways, I did 6 issues of it. I was getting them ready. I actually never launched this newsletter, email newsletter. I never launched it. It's actually something I'm going to leverage. I packaged all 6 issues up. They are going to be a bonus inside Epic Conversions Monthly. When people join Epic Conversions Monthly, they're going to get all 6 issues as a bonus. I can't remember if it's a loyalty bonus or if it's like an immediate bonus. I don't remember how it went, but it's going to be a bonus in there for people. So again, that goes back to what I said about infrastructure. Everything, even if you have something that like Easy Start memberships kind of went defunct on me. It kind of went defunct on me, but I'm still leveraging the assets. So when you think about it like that, you don't really lose. You don't really lose. The way it works in business is some things work out, some things don't. That's the way it goes. At least that's how it's been for me, man. Maybe you bat 1,000 and everything you try works. I don't know. That's not how it's been for me. Like some things don't work. I change my mind on some things. I go this way, I go that way. I try to move with strategy all the time. I don't just like to go based off of feelings. But things don't always work. And then sometimes things change. Things used to work and now they don't work anymore because somebody else changed something. Some bozo changed something somewhere else, and now your thing doesn't work anymore. It happens all the time, man. So things change, things are fluid. So when I was explaining that to you, you can see how I was using AI there. I was using it as an interview partner, right? Because without AI, I would have to find someone else to hire to become this interviewer, right? I would have to hire someone to do that part of it. So now my newsletter that I want to publish, it's not just a one person job anymore. Now it's a 2-person job, right? That complicates my life, right? So to me, this is a nice way to use AI. Um, I was listening to a really interesting training from Ben Settle the other day, And I think in that training he was talking about he's not anti-AI. He said he's not anti-AI. He just doesn't like to use AI for things that require humanity, things that require human creativity. He doesn't like using AI for that kind of stuff, right? And I totally get where he's coming from with that. That makes complete 100% sense to me. So when I do the when I give you that example about the paid newsletter using AI as this interview partner to help pull more content out of the content you've already created, um, then it becomes a nice little thing to me. But that's an example of what I mean by using AI um, in a way that makes sense. Don't go crazy with the AI. Don't let AI be like the heart of your thing, because AI is not the heart of your thing. All right. Last time I checked, people have to buy things, not computers, right? And last time I checked, people like to buy things from other people. They don't like to buy things from machines. Um, a lot of times, people like to buy from other people. All the time, people like to buy from other people, and a lot of times, people buy based off of emotion. They buy based off of how they feel about something or how they feel about someone. Then, of course, they justify those purchases with logic. You guys have heard that plenty of times, I'm sure, but it's true. It's true, man. Um, and if you understand that's true, then you understand that, like, well, if people are making decisions based off emotion, I mean, what's the emotion they feel towards consuming content that was created by an AI? You know, like my immediate emotion towards it is I don't want to waste my time with this content. Like I feel like I'm wasting my you didn't even bother writing it or you didn't bother creating it. Like why should I, why should I consume it? I feel like I've been tricked almost, like I don't and then there is some tricking going on, man. People are trying to like create content with AI, then they're trying to pretend like they didn't. They're trying to like create this content with AI like, okay, how can we make it look more human? How can we humanize this AI content? Yeah, why would they be trying to humanize AI content? Because they don't want you, the reader, to know that you're reading AI. Why would they care? Why would they care about that if you know that you're consuming AI content? Because they know less people are going to read it, man. They know less people are going to consume it. Why? Because it's not popular. Nobody likes it. All right. Very few people actually want to read or consume content created by AI. They would rather consume content that was created by another person. Guarantee you, man. Guarantee you. That's the way it is. So, anyways, look, man, I've rambled on long enough. So the fourth one is AI. Okay, obviously the fourth one is AI. You can leverage AI. It is an easy leverage point for someone who's just getting started. But I'm telling you right now, man, it is a dangerous leverage point because like so many people have access to it and it's so easy to use, right? Well, the problem with that is, leverage is supposed to make things easier for you. Remember what I said? Leverage is supposed to help you pull something you normally wouldn't be able to pull. It's supposed to help you move something you normally wouldn't be able to move. Well, how is AI helping you do that if everyone else is doing the same thing and your stuff doesn't stand out? No one can differentiate you from everybody else. It doesn't. That's the answer. It doesn't. So what I'm saying is if you're using it, you have to use it in a way that makes sense. You have to use it strategically. You still need to be able to stand out. Um, Again, the example I gave you with Easy Start Memberships Monthly, I was using it, taking on the role of the interviewer, right? And it would interview me and I would answer all those questions. So now I had the introduction article, the main article, then basically all these answers I give AI, which added even more depth. And then I would have AI, okay, why don't you go ahead and write a simple article giving your takeaways, right? And then AI would write an article and it would all be very transparent, right? People would know. In fact, it was called Interview with the Robot. That's what that section of the newsletter was called, Interview with the Robot. And then the next section was called The Robot Speaks, right? So I made AI a character in my newsletter. Do you understand? So there's transparency there. AI becomes a character. And in this way, people are more okay with the AI stuff, right? But generally people aren't that okay with AI stuff. So anyways, that's what I tell you. Anyways, this has been a really long one. It's all about leverage. Like, I could talk to you guys for another hour or two about the subject of leverage, okay? But I've gone on long enough. I've rambled on long enough. I got to get to work, and you guys got to get to work. So let's get off this live stream and let's go get some work done today. All right? I got some stuff to do, and you do too. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one. God willing. Peace now.